Three, two, one.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. We are your feared extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GraniteGrok.com.
Grok Talk.
Okay, I have not endorsed Carly Fiorina. I just want to get that out there. I haven't endorsed anybody, but...
and none of us have, and we're following the interesting candidates, and some are spiking interest, and some are not. And, you report on the ones that say or do interesting things or suddenly attract the attention of the public.
Welcome to Grok Talk, by the way. It is Saturday, September 19th, 2015. Great show as always. Always like to bring you these interesting guests. Susan Olsen's going to be joining us at 9:30 to go over the lack of veto override events that occurred this week, particularly with a focus on SB 116, constitutional carry. Steve Lonigan from Fixadollar.com is also the Director of Monetary Policy at the American Principles in Action, which is holding an event that we just announced we're going to be at coming up at Southern New Hampshire University. We've been talking about it. We'll have some more news and information. You can go to the American Principles in Action website, which I can't remember the name of at the moment, but if you look that up, you'll see the details and you can attend the event. And, of course, we have lots of things to talk about. There was a debate this week. We've had some interesting traffic on the website. We want to talk about some of the blogging that we've done and encourage you to go read those things. As always, we are on Facebook and Twitter, and you can listen to this and past programs on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and YouTube and Ustream. Anywhere, just Google Granite Grok or Grok Talk, and you will find all the wonderful places where you can check out what we write and what we do and the things we say. And we especially encourage our Democrat trackers to go back and check the history, because we love that stuff.
Yes, we actually want to hear from you.
Knock yourselves out.
We really do.
Yeah.
We really want you to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, because it's like free blog material. It's like you
our
just threw a
day.
big steak right in front of me.
Yeah, make our day.
I'm going to toss it on the grill, and we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, so for instance, let's throw out one little piece of steak meat, red meat for you guys. It doesn't matter that Trump's not talking about that guy who brought up the Muslims at the event in New Hampshire. So there, you guys can stick it.
Yeah, as usual, we're going to try to begin with the Whiskey Tango Foxtrots. There's always a ton of them. Skip was doing a little research. We had some fun before the show. We didn't talk about them in the pre-show because we spent most of the time talking about how we didn't endorse Carly Fiorina.
Yes.
Because apparently if you post a poll and the person in charge of at the top of the poll, if you include their name, like it's relevant to the content or something, you may be endorsing them, okay?
Yeah, so now you're seeing what happens when you put a name in. I used to get it all the time a couple of cycles ago when I started not to put in Ron Paul's name into the polls I put up on Granite Grok, mostly because it would always flood the poll with Ron Paul folks. And I never could understand, why is he doing so well online, all over, not just on Granite Grok, and do nothing. A nothing burger on online, not on online, but on scientific polls, by the regular polling folks, until I found out that there were two sites that the Ron Paul folks had organized, and they actually went out and hunted for the online polls and then would direct all of their folks, go vote only once, but go vote. So I got in trouble when I started not to put Ron Paul's name up.
And in deference to some of the people who have reached out to me, some of them are just sending me more news, which
Yeah.
is good. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. I've learned a lot, some great links, and we will try to explore those. I want to make it clear that my absence of exploring them is not a sign that I've endorsed Carly Fiorina. It is a sign that I am very busy and I have a family, and that I have to pick and choose the things I want to write about.
But
It's a long and complicated story.
eyes open.
Yeah.
But I just think it's hysterical that I got in trouble for taking a name off. You got in trouble for putting up a name.
Trouble's not so much the word, but people make assumptions.
Flack.
It is Facebook and Twitter and those places, and
those are noisy. They're sewers, as
and it's
Rush
great.
calls it.
That's where I get most of my news from. I mean, the story that I wrote about the New Hampshire driver's licenses and DHS and them, you're not being able to use those to board an airplane at some point in 2016. It's a great story. It's something I wasn't aware of. It's something that's always been coming. Mm-hmm. That just never got covered. And Michelle Lavelle, who's a friend of the program, we've had her on before. She happened to post a link from Travel and Leisure on Facebook. And I went, huh? So I followed the link and I read the story, and then I went to DHS and I looked up what they had and what the Real ID deal was. And then I followed some of those links, and then I went and looked for history in New Hampshire on when we voted to not enforce it, basically repeal it in 2007, and put together what I could in a couple minutes, and I posted a story, and it's a great story. I mean, a lot of people weren't aware of it, and so that's the kind of service that we're attempting to provide. Same thing with the poll on Fiorina. We want to try to find news. A lot of time we just throw stuff out there and see what sticks. And
we try and make sure we're bringing you new and relevant stuff.
And that worked. And it worked. So it's a great story. And I've seen some great comments on Facebook. I've seen some reps who said, yes, there are bills and LSRs being put together. There's things in the Transportation Committee that people are working on to try to get around this whole problem or to come up with a fix that's convenient, that doesn't require us to have an enhanced license which has an RFID tag in it, because there's a lot of laws in New Hampshire that prohibit that. So, it's a big problem for us. We really have done a great job of limiting the amount of surveillance the state can do. I wrote a post at watchdog.org on the cameras and the RFID tags in the Easy Pass and all the laws and things and the concerns regarding that and how it's very limited and what it can be used for and what it can be stored and for how long. And so that's important in New Hampshire. And the legislature didn't want Real ID. I mean, a Democrat majority legislature and a Democrat governor overwhelmingly voted to kill this. No Real ID.
Right.
So now, and it's never been something that's popular in the state. Regardless of how liberal some people may be, even the Democrats are like, we're not comfortable with that.
Right.
So, again, I'd like to see what happens. I'm going to try to reach out to some of these people and get some more details if I can and do a follow-up.
Yeah. Well, Real ID was a perfect example in practical nullification at work. You mentioned nullification, you mentioned the 10th Amendment, and the Democrats were froth at the mouth.
Oh, but they loved it for Real ID.
But if you're talking about medical marijuana, or if you're talking about rolling back some of the surveillance states, you've got an interesting confluence or convergence of libertarians and liberals in this case that said hell no to Real ID in more than half the states at the time, and I'd like to see how many states have actually stuck with that position. And the same thing with medical marijuana is, regardless of what you think about people and marijuana, it's not a federal freaking business.
Somebody's calling.
Well, look, yeah, I saw the flasher.
Just put them right on the air because when
Which
you
line?
do one probably, I don't know.
Yeah, one's flashing. Skip.
Just go live. Don't
Plug
even worry about the
plug
phone
in
thing.
and answer.
Hey there, how you doing?
Hello.
Who is this?
This is Granite Grok?
This is Granite Grok.
Yes, this is Radical Moderate.
Hey, Red.
I heard Steve. I hope you do not think that I thought you were stumping for Carly.
No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you.
Okay, no. My whole purpose was to try and vet the poll, not any reflection.
Oh no, absolutely. Nope, that's fine. I wasn't complaining. I wasn't you. It was not you. But
I appreciate the fantastic columns you guys have been coming out with lately. They're just, they're on a tier, right up there, with the Breitbart, and they're fantastic.
That is high praise indeed, sir.
Yes, it is, especially from somebody who spends so much time engaging conversation on our website.
Yeah, I can barely hear you guys.
Oh, really?
Well, we'll try to boost you up a little bit.
But
what Steve was saying is that's high praise because someone like you who spends so much time writing what I consider, long comments in defense of what's going on, we thank you very much.
Well, I just happen to have the luxury of being able to work on my computer, so I switch back and forth. So it's, but it is, once again, it is very enjoyable to read your work. Everybody, Kimberly's and especially the new rocksters that you have added. But the quality is incredible. It's really the only voice in New Hampshire that's offering any type of independent thought. My opinion is that we certainly have controlled media in this state, which is one of the problems. It's stopping truth from breaking through and allowing people to make intelligent decisions politically.
So what do you think about this driver's license thing?
Yeah, well, that's if you you noticed my comment on there.
I haven't checked yet.
It seems obviously it's a violation of the Commerce Clause. I mean, I do not understand why no type of legal response has been mounted against it. You know, and once again, if one party breaches the contract, it makes the contract null and void.
I actually have another thought on an angle to attack that, so I'd certainly like to do a quick body count, as it were, and see how many states are still on the nullification
There is a map
side.
that I posted with the post of states that are complying with Real ID.
Yeah,
in one form or another.
It should be less than half, unless they've wimped out. But here's my thought. You know, the Constitution requires that the states give full faith and credit to the judgments and edicts of each other, especially as regards driver's licenses, marriage licenses, and I damn well wish it was pistol licenses. But let's stick with what we have. Are we saying that we're considering the driver's licenses of half of the states to be invalid across the nation? Or is the TSA a law unto itself?
That's a good question. We're going to take a really, really short break. You can stay on line, Red Mod, if you want. Hang on. We will be right back after I push a bunch of buttons like always.